honest and commit to high ethical standards bureau. That's why they're better. Always look for the sign of a better business and find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
If you can't decide on dinner, have everything. Golden Corral at 154 South Gary Avenue in Bloomingdale has an endless buffet with over 150 items to choose from. There's an unmatched variety of food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, prepared fresh throughout the day. If you're craving something specific, call or check out their menu. Golden Corral rotates the buffet often. Golden Corral in Bloomingdale. They're the only one for everyone. Visit goldencorral.com.
We are Lions International, the world's largest service organization. We are volunteers committed to strengthening our communities and supporting those in need, one act of kindness at a time. For more than a century, Lions have been serving a world in need, right here in our community and around the world. Lions International makes the impossible possible. This is your invitation to join us, because the only thing missing from our mission to make a difference is you. Visit lionsclub.org to find a local Lions Club near you.
Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Image 360 South Elgin is your ultimate destination for custom signs and visual communication solutions. Looking to rebrand your office interior? Need striking vehicle wraps or decals for your fleet? Or perhaps you're in the market for a standout trade show display? At Image 360 South Elgin, they've got you covered. As your full-service custom sign and graphics partner, they deliver bold solutions and exceptional support. From outdoor signage to eye-catching store signs, indoor graphics to comprehensive branding solutions, they have the experience to elevate your brand's presence. Trust Image 360 to create a long-term partnership that gives your brand 360 degrees of exposure. Visit them at 506 Sundown Road in South Elgin. Image 360 South Elgin. Bold solutions, exceptional support.
LaFleur Taco Grill at 910 Dundee Avenue at the corner of Slade and Elgin is under new management. Enjoy a huge selection of salads, quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and more. LaFleur Taco Grill also has American cuisine favorites and breakfast. Bring the kids. There's a kids menu that they'll love. Are you planning a party this summer? LaFleur also has catering with all types of both Mexican and American foods. Call 847-214-1306 or LaFleur Taco Grill on Facebook.
Take a historic walk through the home of America's greatest showman, Al Ringling. Located in Baraboo, Wisconsin, you can view the grand opulence on a guided tour, now hourly starting 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Weekday tours begin on the veranda and on the weekends in the tap room of the Al Ringling Brewery. Behind the mansion, kick back and try a flight of craft beers and dine at this family-friendly stop. Visit alringlingmansion.com for more information. Welcome back to A Political Talk Show right here on 1410 WRMN AM and WRMN1410.com. Check us out there. Check out our YouTube, WRMN Radio. Give us a like, subscribe. Sorry for having some streaming issues. We're figuring it out. Every day is an adventure. I'm just thankful that we've got Dennis Sonar Green, our engineer, always working. It's always fixing something, right? Yeah.
Hi. Yeah.
But I think we're going good, though. We're going good.
Everything's up and running. We have some solid green lights all across the board. And it's a treat. It's a treat to have digital streaming for things.
Be reminded, yeah.
Having the YouTube that's out there, and we were just talking, us radio people out on the social medias, about how YouTube and Facebook and all of these other streaming services and video have kind of changed how radio is delivered now anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of people that want to have the radio on other devices, and it's hard to do when you just pump a AM signal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that we've got these other ways to do it.
Yeah, and also shout out to the faithful actual AM radio listeners who are getting all this great content.
Yeah, see, they're all laughing, going, ha, 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 ha. YouTube's down, whatever.
Yeah, no, what we're really doing is just pushing people to the stream, pushing people here. No,
It's true. Multiple different ways to actually get WRMN, 1410 AM airwaves. Then we've also got YouTube, youtube.com/@WRMN radio. You can also see the archive that's there too. Hi, Carol. Thank you very much for jumping on. We really appreciate it when you watch.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the stream and the app.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are 3 different ways already, 3 different mediums on top of that. You can always find more information at WRMN1410.com.
How many stations do you have a backup listening or watching plan for anyway? Like when Netflix started buffering, what'd you do? There was
reset.
no other. Yeah, there's no other thing to do. So just like everybody else, we are at the will of the ISPs.
That's true.
It's what it is. Maybe that'll be a part of our legislation focus next hour. I'll find some. I know there's been stuff about at least worries about ISPs and all the stuff that could go.
Well,
wrong.
net neutrality was something that they wanted to put out there, was that they couldn't discriminate against what type of information you were sending back and forth. Now, does that put a surgeon who's remotely having surgery, which they can do nowadays, on the same as me streaming and binging?
Right.
It does, but the equality that everybody's after, and you can always pay the ISP to have first in line if that's what you want to do. They just can't natively put it in there and start throttling you just because they don't like you.
Yeah, a pretty important thing, I would think.
Yeah, well, and they also had it to where it would operate as a utility versus a service, which are 2 different things, and that may be some legislation we look into from there. One question I wanted to ask you, though, man. You watch some wrestling.
Sure.
You watch WWE, formerly WWF.
Everybody had that phase, yeah.
Linda McMahon is now Trump's education pick.
Well.
Did you hear about that? Did it pull my Jay Leno impression? Did you hear about that? Do you know about this?
Yeah. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, man. Yeah, I did hear about that. And I'm just still in this state of not surprised disbelief. That I hope that it doesn't come to fruition. But it's just on par with, if not someone accused of something heinous, someone close to them. So
seems to be a lot of that.
Why is that? Is it just a complete plausible flex of plausible deniability? Is that what it is?
Well, I mean, we talk about if you are a billionaire, there were a lot of things to get you to being a billionaire, and this may be one of those things. That's there. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for letting this out, but there was a thing in the Navy where we were like, you can't make chief in the Navy because you gotta go through a board and a whole bunch of other things, not just pass the test. Be a chief in the Navy without having a DUI. Because it showed that you could recover from a fallback.
Character.
That's on it, right? A character building or whatever. So we also talk about like what's the boss lady, and I know I'm going to get flack for this one too. Why you getting me in trouble, bro?
I could segue to a taxi narrative. That's
true.
It was a good one.
But the boss lady says that there's no ethical way to get $1 billion.
Yeah.
And this may be one of those things to get up there.
Interesting. Yeah. No, the taxi narrative though is actually an episode I watched I think yesterday or the day before, where Louis De Palma, the DeVito character, kind of shoddy, crazy floor manager of the taxi company, the Sunshine Taxi Cab Company. He comes up with a scheme where he's basically skimming from the company, and then he blames it on an employee when he gets caught to take the fall for him. and the big boss fires that employee, presses charges, and then when Louis finally fesses up to it, the boss sees it as like a joke, like, "Oh, you're part of the club. Of course you tried to steal from the club. I should have seen that coming from you, a man of such savvy." And maybe obviously from today's point of view, some social and socio-economic type of
that moral thread. I
Yes.
mean, that's the side of it. What I think is what a lot of people are seeing now or waking up to is the connection with contractors and the military.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are starting to see that of like, yes, of course, you're going to give your friends the contracts. So when you turn around and you talk about the deep state, or you talk about draining the swamp, or doing anything like that, do you really think adding celebrity billionaires to the heads of these positions and these departments, that you're going to get any less government contracts?
It's cronyism.
Yeah. And so that's I don't know, some of it. We'll see who gets affirmed and who doesn't, and if there's any backups and not. I think a lot of this is just news on news. We want to have something. They want to make splashes.
Yeah, watch this hand as the other hand does that.
Mhm.
Highlighting a story from apnews.com
Go.
right here. This is kind of the big news of the day as far as what I've seen out there. Warrants put Israeli prime minister and others in a small group of leaders accused of crimes against humanity. So the decision by the International Criminal Court to issue arrest warrants for the Israeli prime minister and top Hamas official puts them in a small group of leaders to be accused of crimes against humanity. Court issued warrants Thursday for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's former defense minister Yoav Gallant and Mohammed Deif, a Hamas leader Israel claims it killed. The three-panel judge from the court said the warrants were based on reasonable grounds that Netanyahu and Gallant bear responsibility for a war crime and crimes against humanity in the Gaza Strip, where more than 44,000 people have reportedly been killed, more than 104,000 wounded in the 13th month war between Israel and Hamas. And as I said, Hamas also implicated in that.
Yes,
So it's been a
as
long,
they should be.
Yes, it's been a long road, and we're just hoping that stop the craziness. I think this is a pretty damning thing to come out, and the biggest type of stuff we've seen.
That's quite a
released.
tease right before the top of the hour you
Yeah,
got there, buddy.
Got more apolitical talk coming up right here on
That's
1410.
Amazing tease. Thank you, sir.
Thanks
We'll
for
be right
listening,
back.
everybody. Be right back.
Get ready for an unforgettable Saturday night of music on WRMN AM 1410. Starting at 7 p.m., join Court Stevens live from Studio 14 for the CD Showcase. Court mixes together a blend of his favorite country music tunes because, as he says, a song remembers when. Then at 9 p.m., don't miss the Pure American Country Radio Show, hosted by the legendary Hall of Fame disc jockey and voice of the Grand Ole Opry, Bill Cody. Enjoy the best in classic country alongside today's real country hits, perfect for every fan of the genre. But the fun doesn't stop there. At 11 p.m., join country music enthusiast Jim Dandy and Mike Patrick for Branson Country USA. With a rotating roster of special guest stars from the vibrant Branson entertainment scene, you'll get a taste of the best talent in country music. So grab your boots and settle in for a night filled with heartwarming tunes and legendary sounds. Tune in every Saturday night from 7 p.m. to midnight on WRMN AM 1410, where the heart of country music comes alive.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 5 o'clock.
With your 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan. brought to you by Verizon. Elgin Police currently investigating a shooting that occurred on November 19th in the 400 block of South Belmont Street. It happened around 6:30 p.m. At the scene, police found an adult female with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. She was taken to a local hospital. A suspect was detained at the scene, and authorities say that there is no ongoing threat to the public. Some walls at the Kane County Courthouse are being transformed thanks to a renovation by the staff and specialty court participants collaborating on an art project. They created abstract pour paintings that will brighten up courthouse walls. The initiative was spearheaded by Elizabeth Williamson with the Family Order of Protection Division. This weekend, the Nancy Kimball Cobblestone House in Elgin will host Santa Claus for an exclusive appearance and photo session. Built as Elgin's oldest cobblestone structure, this historic venue will offer a unique backdrop for your holiday memories. Each 15-minute session costs $30. With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Curdan.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist?
You don't say.
Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the Better Business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Beef Villa's 3 locations offer much more than their signature Italian beef. Try the Italian sausage, roasted chicken, and more. There's a big variety of delicious side dishes. Beef Villa uses quality ingredients from homemade recipes, and they purchase top-of-the-quality food products from their vendors to bring you the absolute best tasting of foods. Beef Villa's great service and quality are waiting for you, but you won't be waiting long because it's always hot and fresh. Visit beefvilla.com.
This is WRMN News.
Hello, I'm Dennis Green. Republicans on the House Ethics Committee Wednesday voted against releasing a report on their long-running investigation into President-elect Donald Trump's nominee for Attorney General, former Congressman Matt Gaetz. But Illinois Democrat Congressman Sean Casten put forth a resolution on the House floor to try and change that.
The Committee on Ethics of the House of Representatives announced that it had begun to review allegations that Representative Matt Gaetz may have engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, shared inappropriate images or videos on the House floor, misused state identification records, converted campaign funds for personal use, and accepted a bribe, improper gratuity, or impermissible gift in violation of the rules of the House.
The investigation began 3 years ago. Gaetz has not been charged with a crime. President-elect Trump nominated him to be Attorney General. For WRMN News, I'm Dennis Green.
Mark on your calendar that you can get photos with the Grinch. Enjoy some holiday fun right here in downtown Elgin. Take a photo with the Grinch from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and end the day with the Elgin tree lighting ceremony. Bring the kids for a festive selfie photo with the Grinch himself at the Elgin Area Chamber while you're out shopping on Small Business Saturday, November 30th in downtown Elgin. Located at 31 South Grove Street in Elgin, the Grinch appears between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. before the lighting of the holiday tree on DuPage Court. Then the following week, enjoy a special night of Christmas music in Elgin. 6 talented local vocalists and musicians are to perform at Evangelical Covenant Church in Elgin on Saturday, December 7th at 5 p.m. For a local focus, I'm Ben Boquist. WRMN News. Produced in Studio 14 by the River Media Network. If your idea of therapy involves a fishing rod,
a tree stand, or a campfire, then you need American Outdoors Radio. Host John Cruz speaks your language, whether it's about the best lures, tracking game, or that one buddy who always forgets to bring the beer. John's got the tips to sharpen your aim, the hacks to pack lighter, and the stories to keep you entertained. Again, that's American Outdoor Radio with John Cruz. Saturdays at 7 a.m. on WRMN 1410. Or stream it at WRMN1410.com. Get ready to outfish, outhunt, and outcamp 'em all on American Outdoor Radio with John Cruz.
Hello, America, and good day to our friends around the world. This is a political talk show here on WRMN, hour number 2. Thank you very much, Ben Demonium Boquest, for driving the first hour. I really appreciate that. I had some things to do, some wires to cross and things to uncross and whatever else, and all of that. I really appreciate you stepping in. Hey, I also appreciate you right there on the YouTube channel that jumped right in when you saw that notification come up that we were live, ready to go. We appreciate you. Oh, what? You didn't get a notification? Well, go on youtube.com/@WRMN Radio and you will see us there. Shout out to Carol and also Brendan, who's sitting over there. I think our good friend Rita is also checked in too. If you would like to check in, go ahead and hop in on that chat. Or there's even another way. Let's say you're not into the YouTube scene, but you still want to be like texting. You don't want to call in. You don't want to be a part of it. By the way, call in, be a part of it if you want to. 847-931-1410, 847-931-1410. But maybe you're still part of that text and crew. Go ahead and jump in on the text line. That's 505-926-1410. 505-926-1410. That's brought to you by our good friends over at Image 360, over there on Sundown Road. All of your physical media, they've got it there. Also, all of your signage ready to go, whether it is backlit, whether it is laminate, if you need your cars wrapped, if you don't want them wrapped, you just want the magnets. All kinds of great things that you can get right there from Image 360. That's image360.com/South-Elgin.
A great company because it's one of those like things that's been around forever. Sign making, sign making. My grandpa used to have that job where he'd go and set up signs and make sure they, they were hung correctly and level and all that stuff. He did that for years. And now they bring it to this age where it's all computer aided design type stuff. You go market for your business in the physical realm as far as flyers, signage, handouts of magnets, swag, stuff like that. They got a bunch of cool stuff, those little flashlight things that they'll put your logo on for the old school approach, and then also stuff you could implement in your digital media space.
When I worked as a press back at a print shop, the coolest thing at the time was the large printers. Being able to actually print out a giant, like 6-foot sign all in one shot.
Yeah.
Now, when we went over to Image 360, they can actually do that on a door.
Yeah.
Like instead of just like printing the big sign or whatever else, let's say that you wanted to dress up your door. You can take that door over to Image 360 and they will laminate it or put whatever signage you want to on that door. I'm thinking about doing like a library, or a further hallway.
Yeah,
like the rest of the way. They will even come by and help you take it down and put it back.
Nice.
So make sure that you've got it. They'll come and take whatever you want laminated or what have you, and they'll clean that up for there.
I love it.
A great place, Image 360. Check them out. Sundown Road here in South Elgin. Actually, not here in the Elgin, but we do cover the Fox River Valley. Pendery Grove, in fact, has invited us to a train, and we'll go over there with them on Wednesday. More to come on that. Make sure you're following the Facebook feed as well, so we'll have some posts and things like that to go ahead and put on there. Again, check out WRMN1410.com. Find out more information over there.
Yes, sir. It's the season, man. I saw Marky had he went to the great Gail Borden and got ready to put his radio segments together. He's going to do some Christmas stories.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We've got another thing I think we're putting together for everybody's like favorite songs for things. We've got lots of great holiday programming coming up for the automation system to spit out. That way we can have some time with our families too, but we want to make sure you still get that live feel of us given that time. Ben and I are actually working on live streaming from my house on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Just as maybe to fill in for those of you that like the first shift and are going to feel kind of left out without having your first shift shout outs and things. So we were thinking about live streaming over from the study.
Do we have it in the budget? Could we get like one of those thermal safe cameras so we can get like, how's the turkey looking? The turkey cam?
Do it that way, the turkey cam. I'll have to find something. But I hope you all have a fantastic holiday season. I'm sure I'm going to wish that for you a few more times as we go. Again, thanks for hopping in on the YouTube side. Those of you that are curious of it, youtube.com/@WRMN radio. We have opened up the phone lines for you as well. 847-931-1410. 847-931-1410. If you want to jump in on that. We got some regular callers. We love them to come in as well, but we want to hear from you. Are you a regular listener but not a regular caller? Ooh, man. See, we got to get you here on the show. It's your show. Become a part of it here for the Apolitical Talk Show. And before we went to the top of the hour break, Bandemonium Boquest dropped some news on us about the International Criminal Court. And that is what we are going to focus on today for Legislation Thursday. Go ahead, sir.
Well, as you may or may not have heard, I've seen it in a lot of places of people who've been covering this fastidiously throughout the events. I count us amongst those. We're just keeping everybody abreast here. I know there's a big kind of oversight, maybe. Just a lot of people just not covering this because of whatever you want to go. Just not the focus. And it's unfortunate. But this article from APnews.com has come out to say warrants put Israeli Prime Minister and other small group and others in a small group of leaders accused of crimes against humanity. The decision by the International Criminal Court to issue arrest warrants for the Israeli Prime Minister and top Hamas official puts them in a small group of leaders to be accused of crimes against humanity. So it's legislation Thursday today. Usually try to keep it domestic here. But this is international law. It's a tricky thing when you bring up The Hague and all the ICC and all that stuff. It's a sordid history there for a reason. A lot of it tied around World War II, World War I, the implications thereof, and have just kind of been going since then. I talked a week or so ago about more on the civil side of things, the Abu Ghraib thing. Finally being settled for a small group of claimants in that. But this is the first thing that I've actually seen. I thought there was something before.
There was investigations, and then there were also votes on on actually charging and things like that. And it turns out that the International Criminal Court is putting forward 3 different accounts. And what I want to go through is there's 3 different accounts that they're charging Israel with. The first one is starvation as a method of warfare. The ICC accuses Netanyahu and Gallant of employing starvation tactics against the civilian population. There's also international attacks on civilians. The warrants allege that Netanyahu and Gallant directed military operations targeting civilian areas, resulting in significant casualties and destruction of non-military infrastructure. Then the third one is the obstruction of humanitarian aid. The ICC contends that Israel leadership impeded the delivery of humanitarian assistance to Gaza. And I want to also note that the Hamas terrorist group is also mentioned in this as well. They are also international criminals.
Yes.
And wanted for war crimes. So don't think that this is a single point at Israel going, Israel, you aren't doing very well. This is everybody who's involved with this, which is where nobody really wanted it to get to.
Yeah, and you can point directly at Hamas and say, look what is happening because of this, you know? And the whole argument of being able to defend yourself, it's obvious, like, that's a right.
Yes.
But at this point, that's not what's happening. The fallout has been citizens, and that's why we have the ICC.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is. And honestly, where the sticky point is that Israel is actually not part of the ICC, but they are part of the United Nations. And they have also signed the Geneva Convention as well. So they're not an official member of didn't actually sign the statute, but everybody who's within the UN is also involved with the Rome Statute of the ICC. So we're going to get into that a little bit here. The let's first we like to start with definitions. We like to start out with what we're actually talking about. War crime refers to serious violations of international humanitarian law committed during armed conflict. Right? Pretty set forward. These acts are considered crimes of international concern, and those responsible can be held individually accountable. That's both from the top of the people that make the order all the way down to the people that push the button. War crimes include the targeting of civilians, prisoners of war, and the use of prohibitive weapons and or tactics amongst other violations, and we'll get into those. The 2 biggest ones are, of course, the Geneva Convention. That's what a lot of people talk about. Do you know the shape of the grenade, where it had all those boxes and kind of looked like the pineapple,
Little pineapple,
all that
yeah.
stuff? Yeah, absolutely against the Geneva Convention now because it was too brutal
Shrapnel.
on people.
Yeah.
50 caliber machine gun, also not allowed to be used against people. They are anti-vehicles, not anti-personnel. And you want to talk about anti-personnel, Ukraine just got a bunch of mines, or at least was told that they could buy mines now. Not anti-tank mines that they were already using, anti-personnel mines, which you want to start pointing fingers. The U.S. will not sign a treaty that removes mines because we just don't.
It's a liability issue.
For some reason, that's the last-ditch effort for all of us here in the U.S. You want to really stop somebody from coming over the line? Mines. Not just tank mines, anti-personnel mines, which is a whole nother thing that we're going to bring up on Free Speech Friday, is these, unless somebody wants to call in about it. But until then, I'm not going to derail the conversation too much. That's the Geneva Convention, 1949.
Yeah. You know what just struck my mind, though?
Go ahead.
I was talking about how a lot of people don't talk about this, don't like to talk about this, especially in mainstream media. They got their own reasons for that. But when it comes to people, you and me, civilians, any Joe Blow in a bar, I feel like this is why free speech is free speech. Because, even though it may be perceived as something that's maybe anti-government or a lot of people, I feel like, who are linked militaristically in some way or another, it's taboo kind of to even talk of these things. When the founding fathers and the people who wrote free speech into the Constitution, this is what they wanted to protect against, people to not be afraid to say, hey, that this isn't right, this goes against international law, the agreed upon things, and not fear the repercussions of
exactly. Well, and the government, repercussions from the government, who's obviously, they're continuously sending money, so they're obviously in favor of what's going on. You can't read it any other way.
It's obvious, like there's not a recourse, like it's not a mob, moving towards the Capitol, perhaps.
And I don't even pretend to understand the deep rootedness of this conflict. It absolutely is. And like I said before, I hate that I have to compare this as a bar fight, but it is. This is a blow for blow, two people that are out of control, or two groups that are out of control that will not stop on their own. And so if I don't know what is happening in a fight, what's the first thing you're going to do? You step out of your house tomorrow, and in your front yard it doesn't even have to be people. It's just any two animals or anything that's having a giant fight in front of you. What do you do? What's the first thing you do? Is stop.
I keep a small rock in my pocket just to stop birds from fighting.
Just to get it out there.
Yeah, just throw it.
But that's what I mean is you stop. You say, hey, stop. Let's figure it out. Let's talk about it. Let's do it. You don't start handing them weapons.
Right.
You don't turn around and say, here's a broken bottle for you, and then here's a crowbar for you, here's a gun, here's a missile. Like, you don't escalate. You turn around and you say, stop. Everybody screams, stop. So it's just one of those things that I don't want to pretend that I understand it, because I don't. And there's no possible way that I can jump into somebody else's culture and fully understand it in the matter of minutes, or even me just reading something. So we have to acknowledge that this is a conflict that needs to stop, or all conflict needs to stop, rather.
100% agreement with that. It's just, a lot of people just conflate the whole, especially when you say ceasefire. Those words in general really upset a lot of people, because it means different to them. It means, in that culture, they've been at odds for over 50 years. So it's a continuation of just a bad situation over there. So common sense, I think that's the takeaway from talking about this worldwide legislation.
The Rome Statute was the other one. So the Geneva Convention in 1949, these provide the primary legal framework for humane treatment of individuals during war, particularly civilians and those no longer participating in the hostilities. That means POWs. The Rome Statute of International Criminal Court, this statute outlines the legal definitions of the war crimes under the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court. The international attacks against civilians, murder, torture, inhumane treatment, taking hostages, recruitment of child soldiers, targeting schools, hospitals, or other protected buildings are all under that statute. You talked about the Nuremberg trials following World War II. Prominent leaders of Nazi Germany were prosecuted for crimes against peace, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. Former Yugoslavia as well. That's in 1993, and also the Tribunal for Rwanda, 1994, the Rwandan genocide. Syria has also been alleged to use chemical weapons targeting hospitals and mass executions by Assad. There's also Ukraine. Since 2022, the Russian invasion of Ukraine has resulted in international investigations into potential war crimes, including attacks on civilian infrastructure and forced deportations on both sides of that Ukraine side of it. And then we all saw Myanmar on television.
Yeah.
Of other things. We got somebody coming in. Let's go ahead and get to them in the last 4 minutes we got at the bottom of the hour here. Hello, sir. Welcome aboard. How are you?
Yeah, Cleveland Dennis tripping in. I just want to make sure I got something clear with Ben. He said in the last 50 years, the strife, the battle, it's religious between Israel
Thousands.
and the Palestinians.
Yeah, it's been thousands of years of a tit for tat back and forth. But
That's
like
what
I've said before, Dennis, is it has to stop. Like the only way to stop is to stop. If you keep going, that's not stopping.
I agree with that, but it's been at 3,000 years. It's a religious battle, and it's really, if you look at it closely, black versus white. It's also a racial thing.
I could see that as well. And this is where apartheid comes in with everything, is that it is different rules for different races and different groups.
Sure seems like it.
Yeah, the reason I said 50 years though is just the whole I'm thinking about that 1948 marker, which a lot of people use.
Right.
And
however, that was decided between the Brits and the people without a country, and I guess the United States, or the Allies in general.
Well, and the Turks as well. There was a lot going on because that land was actually promised to like 3 different people.
Really? That specifically.
Some of it was to get the Rockefellers into the war as well. Hey, we'll give you a place for your people if you jump into the war. So there's a few other things of that with it. Ben and I did, you think about it now, it's over a year ago of doing a deep dive into some of the just history of the founding of Israel for it. Right. And a lot of it is, a lot of people were promised a lot of things, and then it turned out to be like, okay, well, who is it actually going to be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, when I talk about the conflict over there and everything, it's just back to the common sense, like what should definitely not be happening anywhere.
Yeah. And you don't know what's going on. I mean, you can agree with that, Dennis. If you walk into two people duking it out, you're not going to sit there and hand them a broken pool cue.
Well, this has been going on, but it's just, you think about how it affects us directly. Mm-hmm. Our tax money, our government is like fighting both sides of the battle with dollars. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right with it.
I know.
That's exactly it.
It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. I go, why does this have to go on? Why can't they work it out? How come all these peace accords that have been going on since 1947?
Or at least work it out for themselves. That's the biggest thing for me. I mean, I don't want to take a super isolationist approach over it, but I don't want to get caught up in the next 3,000 years of this war.
Well, there's a few other things, and I just kind of read these recently. Some of the leaders are very well-to-do. They got a lot of money that they have personally.
Oh, and they got time to do it, too. I don't have time, though, Dennis. I got 30 seconds out. Hey, thanks a lot, buddy. I really appreciate you jumping in.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks for taking my call.
Anytime.
Love the show. Thank you. All right.
I've got the Dutchman waiting in line, too. We're going to get to him at the bottom of the hour. We really appreciate you listening on the AM radio. We appreciate you being there on the YouTube side. Oh, hey, you on the app? Yep, you're great, too. We'll see you. Stick around. Bottom of the hour news.
The Illinois Supreme Court today overturned actor Jussie Smollett's conviction on charges that he staged a racist and homophobic attack against himself in downtown Chicago 5 years ago and lied to police. Smollett's appeal argued that a special prosecutor should not have been allowed to intervene after the Cook County State's attorney initially dropped charges. The state's highest court heard arguments in September. Smollett, who is black and gay, claimed 2 men assaulted him, spouted racial and homophobic slurs, and tossed a noose around his neck, leading to a massive search for suspects by Chicago police detectives and kicking up an international uproar. Smollett was on the television drama Empire, which filmed in Chicago, and prosecutors alleged he staged the attack because he was unhappy with the studio's response to hate mail he received. A jury convicted him of 5 counts of disorderly conduct in 2021. He has maintained his innocence. In Elgin, the city of Elgin has announced the selection of a live tree as the centerpiece for its annual holiday tree lighting ceremony. 33-foot blue spruce donated by Brian and Debbie McMahon of West Dundee will be placed in the newly revitalized DuPage Court in downtown Elgin. The tree will be removed from the McMahon residence at 1058 Chateau Bluff Lane, West Dundee, Friday, and be transported to 40 DuPage Court in Elgin, where it would be installed by crane. To accommodate the installation, Grove Avenue will be closed to traffic from East Chicago Street to Fulton Street from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Friday. And speaking of Elgin, Elgin Police Chief Anna Lally joins me during the Friday first shift at 9 a.m. That comes your way right here on the Talk of the Town.
WRMN News, produced in Studio 14 by the River Media Network.
There's a hidden gem in Elgin's South End. It harkens back to the days when going to a diner with family and friends was where everybody gathered for a delicious breakfast or lunch. Ray's Family Restaurant at 801 St. Charles Street in Elgin is a diner that you'll love with tasty food. The atmosphere and the staff are friendly and fast. They're open until 3 p.m. daily. You can never go wrong with Ray's. Visit raysfamilyrestaurant.com. That's raysfamilyrestaurant.com.
Hi, this is Sue with Newman's Corner Pub in Hampshire, Illinois. Are you looking for the perfect hangout spot? Swing by Newman's Corner Pub right at the corner of 72 and State Street in Hampshire. Enjoy fantastic drinks, live music, and a fun crowd that makes every visit special. Test your luck with our hot slots and our Queen of Hearts drawing every Saturday at 3 p.m. Challenge your friends to darts or pool while you're here. Newman's Corner Pub, where every day feels like a weekend. Visit us at Route 72 and State Street in Hampshire. That's Newman's Corner Pub, your new favorite spot.
With your weather flash for Elgin, I'm Sarah Silver, 1410 WRMN. Tonight, a slight chance of rain before midnight. Cloudy with a low around 37, rising to 39 overnight. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high near 45. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy with a low around 32. Looking ahead to Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 43. Currently, it is 37 with light drizzle. I'm Sarah Silver with your weather flash.
Finding the perfect gifts for everyone on your list takes time, and the holidays can get a little busy. So let Macy's help you get a jump on your shopping with our Black Friday sale happening right now. It's your chance to find the best deals on the best gifts before the holiday rush, like cozy puffers and coats and more of the season's best styles. So get your gifts at Macy's now, and when you're cool, calm, and collected during holiday crunch time, you'll have yourself and Macy's to thank. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Welcome back to a political talk show right here on WRMN, WRMN 1410 AM, and of course, WRMN1410.com. Thank you for listening. Thanks for being a part of the show. Even if you are just listening, remember you are still part of the show. You're taking a little bit of us with you, some of this knowledge, I hope, and maybe a little bit of an insight on another side. Here on A Political Talk Show, we want to make sure that everybody's view is open. to be part of the discussion and to engage in just what it means to have that freedom of speech and what it means to be an American, that we can criticize the government.
Mhm.
We can criticize the decisions that they make.
Yeah.
We vote for the dummies, but some of them I don't vote for, and some of them I probably shouldn't have.
There's only so hard you can vote.
It's true. Thanks everybody for jumping into the chat that's over there. Again, I see Carol jumping in. Brendan, hi, over to you. He had a quarter pounder, so I guess they're safe
Ooh.
now.
Love it. I want a quarter pounder.
I do.
It's been a while since I've kind of stopped eating McDonald's for a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't the scare of the onion
No.
scare.
A lot of it is just health. I think health. I was eating too much McDonald's, and then this whole opportunity to boycott, and I just like jumping on that train. Sometimes
why not?
it feels good. I quit eating seafood for a year after watching just one of the worst documentaries about the fishing industry and stuff. I love seafood
and all the plastic that's in there.
Yes,
too.
the plastic. So yeah, as well as I like to mix in selfishness and my selflessness. So you get a little taste of both.
Before we get to
sorry, I was just gonna double dip on the selfish and selfless.
both. It balances out. It's all about balance.
Yes.
Speaking of that, our phone lines are open, 847-931-1410, 847-931-1410. Be balanced, jump in as long as you are in with a good faith argument. You're not just trying to be a troll or whatever else. Like, come on in, let's have a conversation. You truly believe something, then let's break it down. I like to be challenged because it helps me refine my beliefs to what I feel they should be.
Yeah.
And if you've got a valid point that changes my mind, oh my goodness, my mind will be changed. It's crazy. Just to wrap it up before we get to the first caller that's waiting in line, the challenges addressing the war crime issue that was just let out for Benjamin Netanyahu. The first one is the judicial limitations. The ICC can only promote crimes committed by individuals from member states or within the territory of member states, unless referred to by the UN Security Council. That's the other side. So even though Israel isn't part of the ICC or signed anything for that statute, the UN Security Council automatically falls in under it.
It's like saying, a bill went to collections. I never picked up the phone. I never talked to those people,
Exactly.
but like your credit score is going down.
Whether or not you interact with it, you still joined up for it. Political barriers are the other side of it. Enforcement is often hindered by geopolitical factors. So, yes, there is a warrant for the arrest. Do you think that when he comes over to the U.S., that we're going to let people just kidnap somebody who came over to the U.S.? Or, I'm sorry, not kidnap, arrest somebody who came over to the U.S.? The extradition for it? No, I don't think it'll happen.
Seems like a fat chance.
Yeah. Third one there is the evidence collection. Investigating war crimes in active conflict zones is complex and dangerous, complicating the gathering of credible evidence. So they have to show this willful side to everything, not just the plausible deniability of accidents. That's there. I'm sorry I shot out your UN cameras. We were hunting. Right here on the phone line, we've got the Dutchman. Welcome aboard, sir. I really appreciate you being here. What would you like to add to the conversation?
You shot out the phone? No. Man, you guys are just blowing the place up. I'm surprised the smoke isn't coming out of the electronics over there.
I know. It's a lot of gears. We had at least 2 hamsters not make it this evening, so it was just they're the ones that spin the wheels.
Yeah.
They're just out there. I had to replace a couple hamsters and chase a couple gremlins out.
Yeah, well, that's what Brian's supposed to do, right?
He definitely helps.
It's always something.
You guys have got it's a complicated mess.
Sure is.
Okay, so, well, here's a situation. Well, I grew up on a military base, so there you go. So again, part of it would I want to say hi to Dennis too. I'm glad he's calling in.
Yeah,
I like Dennis. He's part of the morning crew too.
Mm-hmm.
Marky B. So, here's what my take on it is.
Go ahead.
If we were being lobbed on a daily basis over there with bombs, it would get, after a while, it would get old, right? And the nerves and everything would be frayed. Your attitude would be frayed, and we had to go after them. And so, hence Israel. Okay, so
who am I getting lobbed by bombs from? Is it somebody that I have in a apartheid open air prison?
No, I'm just saying, like Mexico. If Mexico was like Palestine. See,
are we treating? Well, here's the thing: are we treating Mexico like we're treating like they treat Gaza? As Mexico stands right now, yeah, I'd be pretty upset if they just all of a sudden started throwing weapons at us. But if we were oppressing Mexico and keeping them in an open air prison just to exploit their labor, and they started throwing bombs,
we're doing that.
Yeah,
we are doing that.
I could see that.
We are doing
that in the trade side of it.
Well, not for long.
No, here's the thing. This brings up a sore spot with me because I don't understand this. All right, World War II was about what? It was about Jews being annihilated, pretty much. It was about Hitler running through Europe, going. He wanted his white supremacist idea that all the white people, all the skinheads of the world, they're the only ones allowed to be around, and everybody else is slaves or killed. Okay, so here's I'm using this to go to Israel.
Yeah.
All right. And I get the idea that the Palestinians probably think that, but they're their own undoings because they've got Hamas. They're friends with Hamas, and they know that Hamas is a terrorist organization, and I forget the other terrorist organization.
Well, Hezbollah is probably the other one you're looking for.
But here's the thing: anything in the Middle East is like that. Okay, so when we went into the Gulf War, what happened? Pretty much everybody around there, we were basically with Iraq, but the Iranians, all the countries around there, Pakistan, they went after us because we're invading their area. See, like it or not, and this is where there's a story about Hussein, where he actually had control of people over there for the most part. And what's happening here is Netanyahu is kind of doing the same thing. The problem is we don't know all the facts. All right, I can't judge somebody based on hearsay. We don't know their intelligence network. We don't know how they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing. I do know this, and you guys should know this because it's been a fact, that they use civilians, that the Hamas will use civilians in Palestine to make a point.
Yes.
So, the poor babies. And see, it's been proven also that they had to set up a headquarters in a school. So now let's say you're special ops. Let's say, we send somebody in special ops. How are you going to get these people out? How are you going to get the civilians out?
How is
like that?
Okay.
See, that's the problem.
Okay, how do you get the civilians out? How does a bomb get the civilians out of that building?
Yeah, and I mean, if you're talking about, I hate to jump back in the conversation, but you're talking about like the World War II angle of it with everything that obviously brought America into the war, and the whole point of World War II is obviously the terrible ethnocentric beliefs of Hitler, and all the terrible campaigns that the Nazis did, and on its face, it's an issue of doing war crimes.
They are war crimes.
Yeah.
That's why the Hague was put together.
But but a lot of them got away. Okay, so
a lot of them got away because two things. And I said it before. It's hard to get evidence while things are still happening, and secondly, because of the geopolitical factors. So, do I think that Netanyahu is going to be in front of any kind of ICC court in my lifetime or his? No, absolutely not. And so that is also how a lot of Nazis got away, is because justice delayed is justice denied.
Okay, but here's the other thing. The biggest thing on a Palestinian's mind is to kick Israel out.
Of what? Out of Palestine?
No, to kick people. Yeah, kick out of the Middle East.
No.
Okay,
Kick them out of Gaza or out of the West Bank. Because what's happening? Because what's happening over there is the Palestinians are under an apartheid state. What that means is they are a second-class citizen that a actual citizen can do whatever they want to with them. That's what an apartheid is. And then to turn around and wall up people and prevent them from leaving both by land or by sea, and then cutting off every single one of those resources to get in and out of there, and then throw bombs on top of those people, and then to turn around and say that these aren't, like, what else do you describe them as?
Yeah. Another angle.
I get it, but here's the thing. I'm just going by, it's not me. I'm just going by what I've seen and what I've read, okay? The thing is, I know that, and people have explained why. One of the reasons why they do what they do is because they've had instances where the guy, they go do all the checks and stuff, your IDs and whatever, and then 2 weeks later somebody throws a bomb at you that's from the guys that they let through. So, like 9/11.
Sure.
Right. It's totally.
But at what point do we close up the shutters and all just live in our house? Because I don't know what kind of stranger is going to do anything on the street. I mean, that's really what it is. You're turning around and saying these people deserve to be in this prison because we don't know who the good people and who the bad people are.
That's the thing. That's I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you guys. But it's a rock. It's kind of a rock between a rock and a hard spot. It's kind of like, I can't judge them because I don't live there.
Yeah.
All right. I only get it from bits and pieces from people I know, and
I can only judge for what I pay for, right? And if I pay for the weapons, that's the only place that I can judge. I can't judge necessarily why they would use the weapons, but I can judge that they are.
But here's Dennis was bringing up a fact, and I'm glad he's calling in because the guy's pretty cool. I wished I would have. I don't know if he ever came back for the Pasta Palooza thing that they had or not. I missed it because I was out of town. But anyway, the weapons. Okay, so the biggest problem I have with our country is we spend way too much money on weapons, and here's the thing. How do you think Israel is getting all those weapons? It's from us. How do you think Ukraine's getting the weapons from us? They have to. Lockheed Martin and Boeing have to justify all these weaponries and the billions of dollars they spend on planes.
Yeah, they couldn't possibly lose any stock share by not having wars out there. They couldn't possibly do that. Then we're back to what we discussed over the week of the monetary aspect of it. Is back to the military-industrial complex. But my thing is why continue to fuel it?
Yeah, and one of my points normally when I get into this argument is that the civilian aspect of Palestine, they're obviously manipulated. They're fed misinformation. They're groomed effectively from Hamas.
And then you turn around and say, no, that really those people are nice that are throwing bombs at you. That's a hard sell.
Yeah. That on top of it's just a state of abuse, really. The
they're
leaders,
never going to change.
Yeah, well,
they're never going to change.
My point is that you can agree that Hamas is the bad guy at the start of this thing. They needed to be stopped. They've needed to be dismantled.
They still need to be stopped.
They still need to be dismantled. And it's just been gone about the sloppy-handedest way. And it's an insult to my intelligence to tell me that it's not some type of a money grift for the defense contract.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You guys might not have been. You might have been little when this was going on. They actually had a couple of agreements, and I can't remember the name of the gentleman. Not Netanyahu. Way back when, like maybe 20, 30 years ago. Dennis might be able to bring this up. All us old guys. Okay, there was. I think it was when Carter was in office or something, where they had this agreement. They actually had an agreement that with Palestine, they were going to stop. Everything was going to be cool. And they were supposedly they were going to open up lands and stuff, and they opened some up, and I don't know whatever happened after that. But it's been tried as long as I've been alive, a couple of times that I know of. The last one had to be like 20, 30 years ago. Okay, but here's the thing. Like Dennis said, thousands of years. Well, picture this, okay? It isn't going to stop overnight. Number one is the biggest factor you have in that area is Iran. Iran doesn't want stability. Iran could care less. They do. They're the worst of the worst when it comes to the countries over there. They're worse, in my opinion, than what's his name over in North Korea. They'll do anything to keep women suppressed. There's things that go on over there horrendous. All right. That's just the way they live. All right. If you're not a Quran person, if you're not something, you're basically a bad guy, and they don't want to have anything to do with you. And if you get in their way, they'll blow you up. And that's the problem. If you could put some kind of a leash on Iran, that would be good. But see, here's the thing. Every president for the last 30 years I've heard, we'll take care of it. Biden said it. Obama said it. Clinton said it. And I don't know if 4 years ago when Trump was in office, if he did. But here's the thing. We can't keep giving these guys money because it's hush money. If you recall, every time North Korea launched a missile, it wasn't soon after that everybody was making a big deal, and all of a sudden it went quiet. And it was come to find out we gave them money to shut up and to stop doing it. Then it kept going on. It's been going on for 30 years, 40 years. We keep feeding the beast. And this is what I'm saying. I think a lot of it has to do to justify the military complex. And I really do. Instead of putting money, and this is my big deal, instead of putting money, put it into something useful like the healthcare system and the space race. I mean, we have great space technology. A lot of things were made from the past space stuff. I get in this kick with the space stuff because I'm a big aeronautical nut, and I can't understand why we can't use some of that money instead of building bombers, which, by the way, only last 10 years.
Well, it's because we don't know
dollars for one plane, and it's 10 years the plane is dead.
It's because we don't know a WWE owner that puts rockets up into the world. We only know one guy who puts rockets up into the world. So I'm sure he's getting quite a bit of money already, or going to be getting money. You want investment into space, buddy? We all just voted for it.
True that.
Whether we get anything good out of it or not, whether we get another rocket exploding in the atmosphere, or
well, things happen. It's
true.
No different than a car.
Yeah,
think about it. It's no different than a car.
Absolutely.
How many times you got the Toyota recalled?
Yeah.
I love this. I love this discussion because it brings up a whole range of stuff. But see, it's all connected. The whole world in points is connected. You know, I could get into the Africa thing too. I mean, why are we spending more money in other parts of the world instead of half in Africa?
Yeah.
You know, and they're starving. You know, communities like Burundi, you know, and Nigeria and some other. We're not because. There's nothing there of value, right? So
the three of us are going to be
the
three of us are going to be the heads of the Department of Government Efficiency. I think that's really what it is. Show me all the budget, the whole thing, top to bottom, and let's figure this thing out.
Yeah, it's going to stay around, and then next time when The Rock is president,
I'd be cut. I'd be go, there's no, and then I would go. This goes to this. I mean, I'm okay. So I firmly believe that both the Democrats and the Republican people, that the civilians in the world, know more about what's going on than the politicians. And I think it's only, again, I said this last time, is that it's the money, it's the payola. You know, what are you going to do for me? You voted, you know, the first one that coughs off $1 million to my campaign, then I'll take care of you. That's the problem. Take the money issues away from the politician. Take the term limits and campaign finance reform. But you know that'll never happen, and I agree with you guys.
No,
so,
they don't. They don't fire themselves, right?
So
yeah, the problem never fires themselves. I haven't seen it in all of my in all of my consulting out there in the world. I've never seen the problem quit. I've never seen the problem turn around and be like, "You're right. It was me the whole time. Sorry, guys. I'll see you later." But and they're not going to vote against their own interests. Thanks a lot, Dutchman. Really appreciate you being there. Yeah.
I got this word of the day. Okay, so this is and I put it out there. Tolerance. Everybody needs to have tolerance. Don't judge anybody. Well, that'll be a different one. But I love it. If you guys, every time you have something. That like if you go to a bar or somewhere, not bars, if you go get a coffee and it takes you a little bit longer than normal, tolerance.
There it is.
All right, kids. God bless you guys. God bless America. God bless America. WRMN.
Proud to be an American. Thanks, Dutchman, for calling
appreciate
in.
That.
Some Len Greenwood.
That's it. That's some good stuff right there. The real Americans that are calling in right here. We got a couple more minutes. Go ahead, buddy. I know we've got this this hot off the presses.
Yes, this is from WTTW, and the word of tolerance brings this one up. A woman faces hate crime charges after confronting a man wearing a Palestine T-shirt at Downers Grove Panera. Maybe you saw this on social media. I know I did. And it's just a reminder out there that, you know, be respectful. No matter what you think, maybe you're getting triggered. You have this belief, other people have that belief. Whatever it is, you don't have to step up and commit a hate crime like this woman. In Downers Grove, a suburban Chicago woman faces hate crime charges for allegedly confronting a Palestinian-American man wearing a sweatshirt with Palestine written on it, trying to knock out a cell phone of his pregnant wife's hands as she recorded the encounter, authorities and the man said. So, this lady was charged with a hate crime right here in Downers Grove. So what kind of sense does that make to bring hate virtually across the entire globe just because of ideologies, I guess? How about treat your neighbor right?
Exactly. Well, just like the Dutchman was saying with the tolerance side of it. There's a tolerance paradox, and you need to be tolerant of everybody except the intolerant.
Yes.
Oh, maybe we'll talk about paradoxes tomorrow on Free Speech Friday. Hey, don't forget First Shift kicks the whole day off at 6 a.m. We will take you all the way to 6 p.m. Thanks for listening to WRMN's local coverage. Hey, stand by for some national stuff. Political party poopers got you down? Shake it off and join me, Dennis Sonar Green, every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m. on WRMN for A Political Talk Show, where we cut through the doom and gloom